And showtime. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup. A look at news, trends, and tips for the SMB channel in 5 minutes or thereabouts. My name is Rich Freeman. I am executive editor of the ChannelPro Network and one of your hosts on this program. And with me, side-by-side, video-wise at least this week, is my co-host Eric Simpson, a business transformation and improvement consultant for MSPs and other IT providers. Eric, where are you sitting this week?
Well, Rich, this week I'm sitting in Dallas, Texas, working with a client through some strategy today. And to add even more excitement, I'm hotspotting from my smartphone for this internet connection. So if it seems a bit dodgy, everyone, that's why.
Yeah, place your bets now, people, whether or not we make it all the way through the 5-minute roundup this week. But so far, so good, Eric. Looking good.
Awesome.
Well, let's dive into our top story of the week here, which concerns Axcient, the business availability vendor. They announced this week that they are introducing a lead generation program. So for the first time, they're actually going to be going out and looking for SMBs in need of BDR and other business availability related services and handing those leads out to their MSP partners. Kind of an interesting story in terms of how this came about, by the way. I got this story from them last month at CompTIA's ChannelCon conference. They were getting leads. They were being approached basically by SMBs who had come across them via some of Axcient's SEO efforts. So Axcient was out trying to recruit MSPs. Some business owners, small business owners, were encountering some of that work that they were doing and calling into Axcient and saying, sounds like an interesting product, how do I buy it? And so on an informal kind of one-off basis, Axcient would send these leads on to their partners. And of course, they started thinking to themselves, if we're getting a nice stream of leads here without even trying to, what happens if we actually try? So that's what they're doing now. They're going to be investing some money in actually going out and generating leads among SMBs and handing those out to their partners. This connects with something that Axcient announced last month as well. They launched a new marketing portal. We may even have talked about it here on the 5-minute roundup. And among other things, one of the things they're doing with that portal is they're kind of keeping track of how much partners utilize it, how engaged they are with the various resources available through the portal, excuse me. And every time you use the system, it awards you a certain amount of points. And your point total is apparently going to factor into where you stack rank in terms of who gets these leads. So if there are 3 or more partners in a particular location who potentially could receive a lead, the one with the most points is going to get it. But the bottom line is there's probably nothing that MSPs and other partners want more, like to get more from their vendor partners than sales leads. And Axcient is going to take a shot at that.
Yes, sales leads, followed closely, by money, but we'll take sales leads for sure, Rich. So
right.
I think that's an awesome story of, origin story of how this came about. They were just, getting prospective customers to come up to them and then saying, holy cow, maybe we should invest some time, energy, and effort into it. And guess what? I'm pretty sure it's going to be very successful. And I know that their partners will be clamoring for these leads. And it's probably a really good messaging to recruit new partners, to let them know that, hey, if you, perform and hit these metrics, we'll be happy to invest in your success by providing you sales leads. So good on them.
And, a couple of other dimensions to the story that should sound good to MSPs out there. First of all, kudos to Axcient for not taking any of that business direct, right? It was coming to them directly, but they did the right thing and handed it out to their partners, back when this was an informal process. But also, they're not just grabbing any old lead that comes in and tossing it out to a partner, and it's up to you as the partner to figure out whether this lead is any good. They are actually doing some qualification of these leads before they distribute those out to the MSPs. So we'll have to see. Only time will tell if the quality of those sales leads is high, but they are at least making some effort to assure that the quality is high.
Fantastic.
Well, as long as we are talking about qualified sales leads, Eric, I think that has something to do with your tip of the week.
Yes, how timely that my tip of the week is all about establishing a set of qualifiers for the businesses that you want to work with, for the companies and business owners. So, just in general, best practice is you want to work with clients that align with your culture, with your beliefs, with your values, that fit within, your demographic criteria of seat size and vertical market and all of these things. So instead of making this, kind of an after the fact consideration, once you visited a client and sat down and qualified them, not making their, a solution and their availability of budget to invest in that solution, the primary qualifier, I recommend that we establish another set of qualifiers. So as you're interviewing these clients, asking them very specific questions and confirming what you already know from doing your prospecting and preparation phase of your sales process. You're looking them up online. You're investigating everything about them, their leadership, news, understanding things about the business, who they serve. I mean, who they serve may also be a qualifier, right? We may object to, working with some types of businesses, and there's all kinds of businesses out there. You've got to determine what these qualifiers are for you, and if you do so and stand by that, you'll have better, longer-lasting relationships with your clients over time. And also, if you're taking advantage of lead programs like Axcient or anyone else, it's very important that you inform them of these qualifiers so they're not sending you prospects that don't fit within the box that you want to work in.
Yeah, and there are so many reasons why it's important to have qualifiers over and above, does this customer have money to spend, right? I mean, it might sound like kind of a squishy thing to say we want to make sure we're a cultural fit, but if you're not, there's going to be friction in that relationship, and it's going to be a burden on you, and you're going to have an unhappy customer probably in the end. So, I mean, you're saving yourself a lot of time and angst, and probably making yourself some money if you do assign some of those kind of cultural qualifiers. And then the other thing is, to the extent that you are more specific about the kind of customer that you want, whether that's by the size of the customer, what they do, their vertical industry, and so on, the more you specialize, we know, the more efficient you're going to be and the more profitable you're going to be. And so that's another reason to be particular about the qualifications you're looking for.
Those are all valuable, tips, Rich. And I think as we grow our businesses and become more successful, we have more of an opportunity to pick and choose the types of businesses that we want to work with and become more strategic about those decisions. There's also a give and the get. I mean, it may not always be us serving the client, but, there may be reciprocal benefit from, bringing them on board. Maybe there's some things that they can do for us as well. Maybe it's, sometimes it's brand recognition, and a new logo. But the most important thing is just like hiring staff. If they're not a cultural fit, that relationship is doomed. It's not a matter of if, it's simply when.
Right. Well, that leaves us with time for just one more story this week, folks. And this is going to be especially relevant to you if you have, say, $325 million burning a hole in your pocket. Because just within the past few days, apparently, the estate of the late, great Paul Allen, co-founder of Microsoft, he passed away in 2018. Big presence here in my hometown of Seattle. Some of his possessions are being sold now, including his 414-foot superyacht, which is listed at 295 million euros, which is just a little bit over $325 million. And you know what? It sounds like a pretty good deal, I got to say, because it's got all the features you look for in a boat: a pool, a hot tub, a spa, a bar, a gym, basketball court, built-in movie theater, glass-bottomed underwater observation lounge, elevators, because of course. And by the way, the capacity, it can hold, I love this ratio, it can hold 26 guests and 63 crew members. So if you do buy this, by the way, please invite me over, because I like that. I like knowing there are at least a few people on the crew serving me personally.
It's unfortunate, Rich. I'm in the market, but it falls like 6 feet short of what I'm looking for in a super yacht. So I'm going to have to pass.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I am in the same situation as you. I set a firm cap at $320 million. This is just a little out of my range. That is all the time we have this week on the 5-Minute Roundup, folks. Thank you very much for joining us. We will be back again next week with another episode. If you'd like to see that, maybe take a look at some past episodes that you've missed before, the best thing to do is look for the ChannelPro Network channel on YouTube and subscribe to that. It's apparently a little bell that you've got to click these days to get notifications of new episodes, so be sure to do that too. You want to read more about Axcient's lead generation program and all sorts of other stuff about happenings in the industry and growth strategies for your business, go to channelpronetwork.com. Every day we have got great new content for you there every day. To learn more about Eric and the work that he does with his clients, the place to go is ericksimpson.com. That is ERICK Simpson.com. So thank you again for joining us this week. We will be back with you next week with another episode. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week. Eric and I are enjoying the rest of your week already.